Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a buy list for Forbidden Light. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Forbidden Light is out today. It's a new Pokemon TCG set. And you guys need to know the important cards. The cards in the set that you need to go and get a hold of. So you know what? I think it's time to go and do ourselves a little bit of the old buy list. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and as far as I'm concerned, these are the cards you need to be fully prepared for the upcoming season. The cards to have in your binder so that if you want to make a deck, the right cards will be there. Of course, if there's a card you really like, something like Delphox or Pyroar that I've not put on this list that you like, you can still go buy it. I won't be mad at you. And similarly, if there's a card on this list that you really think is terrible, don't get it. So starting off then, I think you need one copy of PHEROMOSA. The Ultra Beasts in this set really are kind of one-shot attackers. They do a special thing at a given point in the game. So this PHEROMOSA does 180 damage, but only if you've got one prize card remaining, so you don't need to have any more than one of these. Similarly, ALOLAN MAROWAK, you only need one or two of these. For 0 energy, search your deck for 2 basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Plus, double colorless energy, 20 damage for each Pokemon you have in play with ALOLAN in its name. So I do think you need maybe 1 or 2 if you're going for energy acceleration, maybe 4 if you're going to use this as a deck in the future. HEATRAN is quite a nice non-EX, non-GX fire attacker. Free energy, 130, discarding 2. That's not bad. I think you need 1 or 2 of those just in case you end up using it in a fire deck in the future. Now, I do think you need 4 copies of Frogadier. Frogadier is essentially Golbat. You evolve up, and then you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. We assume that Golbat is going to rotate out in September. Frogadier is a very, very good card, and it really is something that is going to work with single energy attackers like Buzzwole, for instance. And even in Expanded, it's going to be better than Golbat because it's a water Pokemon, so you can go ahead and use Brooklet Hill. As for Greninja, I mean, obviously Greninja is Crobat, so Greninja kind of carries on this theme of getting extra damage down 3 rather than 2, and it's up to you whether you think Greninja is going to be a good deck or not. If you think Greninja is going to be a good deck, I think you need to go and get 3 or 4 of these sooner rather than later, because if it is good, the price of this is just going to go up and up and up. If you don't, then probably hold on, to be perfectly honest with you. I think you need 1 copy of Volcanion Prism Star. It's got an ability which makes your opponent switch their active if you discard a water energy from your hand. Pretty much should go in any water deck as a fun little one-off. Free MAGNEZONE, because to be perfectly honest, this could be good one day. It's just an alternate art reprint of the Metal MAGNEZONE. We see that the Metal MAGNEZONE sees play with Duskmane Necrozma. Very simply, if we ever get a good lightning attacker, this MAGNEZONE is going to be very, very good indeed. And I do think you need to have a couple copies of these just sitting around, just in case you ever want to play it. 1 copy of XURKITREE, again, it's not something you want to be using every turn, but if you've got 3 prize cards remaining, automatic paralysis, something you need because it could be good in lightning decks, like for instance, MAGNEZONE. Malamar is one of the best Pokemon in the set, one of the best cards in the set. You need 4 of these. It's pretty much guaranteed to be good with Ultra Necrozma, but to be perfectly honest, it's going to be good with any psychic attacker. You need to have 4 of these. And similarly, I think you need 4 copies of Naganadel, though again, if you don't think it's going to be good, it's a GX. That means it's going to be moderately expensive. You might want to hold off. But 1 colorless energy, 20 damage for each Ultra Beast in play. 3 colorless energy, reset both players to 3 prize cards no matter where the game is. I think there's a lot of potential here. I think you need 4 copies of Garchomp. I think it's a really good Pokemon, and I think it's better as a fighting than it currently is as a dragon. And you know what? As a fighting Pokemon, you get strong energy. And you get Diancie Prism Star. And assuming you're using the Fighting Gible, you get Brooklet Hill. See where I'm going with this? I think it is quite a bit better, to be perfectly honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I think you need 4 copies of ZYGARDE-GX. Now again, ZYGARDE-GX is a GX, which means it's going to be more expensive than a lot of the cards on this list. Maybe you want to hold off for a minute, but you can use Bonnie to use a GX attack over and over again. You've got an attack for a double colourless energy that does 50, but it accelerates energy to yourself. And then for 150, for 4 energy, with a choice band 180, and then you get immunity the following turn. Assuming you use Bonnie every turn, you can just keep using this. I think it is worth investing in. DIANCIE Prism Star, you need 1 of. It's a no-brainer. Any fighting deck you play from now until it rotates, you need 1 DIANCIE Prism Star, because it does an extra 20 damage for all your fighting Pokemon. But it's a Prism Star, so you only need 1. Lycanroc, I think you need 1 or 2, although it is in both the theme decks and the pre-release promos, so maybe you've already got it. But 20 damage plus 20 more for each of your opponent's bench. I've said this a couple of times. Before rotation, Sudowoodo might be better. Post-rotation, I think this is a lock to go as a 1 or 2 of in every Lycanroc deck, and Lycanroc has been a very widely played deck. Buzzwole is an amazing card. It's still a 1 of, but your opponent has 4 prizes remaining. You do 120 on a basic for 1 energy. That'll do, pig. That'll do. YVELTAL-GX, I think you should consider as a 1 of in Darkness decks. If your opponent's active has 4 damage counters on, you get a 1-hit KO for a single energy. The card as a whole isn't amazing, but I do think consider getting 1 of these just for the GX attack. DIALGA-GX is just as good as DIALGA-GX has been since it came out in Ultra Prism. The difference here is whether you want to have a Metal Pokemon or a Dragon Pokemon. But I think 1 of these to give yourself the option. Having said that, maybe Dragon Pokemon has a better weakness because Fire weakness kind of sucks. I'll leave it up to you. You need 1 copy of Sylveon. I mean, it's going to be in Sylveon GX decks, but you've still got the Energy Evolution EV, and for 1 energy, you get to take a supporter card out of your opponent's hand and discard it while using it. Now, admittedly, that could hurt if you grab something like a Professor Sycamore and discard a really good hand, but you know what? It's still a card which I can see being teched in. I think you need 1 of these. Dedenne, I think you do need a couple Dedenne, because if you've got a lightning Pokemon on the bench, and might I suggest Tapu Koko here, you do 60 damage for a double colourless energy. Or 90 with a choice band, or 180 with weakness. Put simply, this is a really good basic fairy attacker for a double colourless, and if fairy decks ever become good, this is going to be very useful indeed. XERNEAS-GX, like YVELTAL, I think it's worth considering for the GX attack. Free energy, which is kind of expensive, move all damage counters from all of your Pokemon to your opponent's active. You know what? I think this is a very good card, but only for the GX attack, so I only think you need 1 of these. Ultra Necrozma-GX is going to be amazing. I already mentioned it back with Malamar. It's got a great attack that can basically 1-hit KO anything, by which I mean can 1-hit KO anything. It's already crushing in Japan. You need at least 3, if not 4 of these. The price on these is only likely to go up. Arceus Prism Star isn't particularly good, but you know, it's a Prism Star. Maybe it's useful one day. I mean, 1 colourless energy, if you've got grass, water, and lightning Pokemon on your bench, get 3 basic energy cards onto your field in any way you like. Great energy acceleration, but really awkward cost here. But I still think it's a cool Pokemon that should see a bit of play. Also, right, in Tapu Bulu Vikavolt, this could be cool. And finally, for the Pokemon, you need 4 NOITBAT. That's right, NOITBAT. Double colourless energy, look at your opponent's hand, discard all the item cards you find there. You know this is going to be played in disruption decks at some point. Now, in terms of the trainers, we generally want 4 of each. B-String is amazing energy acceleration. If your opponent's got 3 or 4 prizes remaining, you search for 2 basic energy and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts. Crazy good, you need 4 of them. Bonnie, as we said, is amazing, but only in Zygarde decks. Wake is brilliant for water decks. Discard 2 basic water energy and search for any 2 cards. It's amazing, but you probably won't want 4 in a deck. 2 or 3 will do. Similarly, Diantha, Get any 2 cards back from your discard pile, double puzzle of time, as long as you had a fairy Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. Although it is a supporter, you're probably only going to play 1 or 2 a game, so you probably only need 2 to 3. ENEPORTER, move one of your opponent's special energy to another one of their Pokemon. It's not great, but it's likely to be cheap, so grab 4 just in case. Fossil Excavation Map is only really good for fossils and decks that use unidentified fossil, but I don't know. Maybe there'll be fossil decks in the future. Again, it's likely to be cheap, and it's nice to have there. We also need 1 or 2 copies of Lady. Search for 4 basic energy. It's never going to be a 4 of because all it does is search out energy, but you should have some. And Lysandre Prism Star, you only need 1 because it's a Prism Star, but it could be good in fire decks. For every fire Pokemon you have in play, put one of your opponent's cards from the discard pile into the lost zone. Lysandre's Lab turns off tools, so you know what? You need 4 of those because you may well play it. Metal Frying Pan is great for metal decks, takes away weakness, and means you take 30 less damage. You need 4 of those. Mysterious Treasure is amazing. Discard 1 card from your hand. Search for a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon. In Psychic and Dragon decks, it is very literally a better Ultra Ball. You definitely need 4 of these. Ultra Recon Squad, it draws you cards in Ultra Beast decks. It's not particularly great, but I would get 4 because, again, this could be good in the future, and you don't want to be running around before a League Cup trying to find Ultra Recon Squad. Ultra Space is a stadium that searches out Ultra Beasts. You need 4 of them. It's essentially an Ultra Beast decks. And Unit Energy, I mean, the other Unit Energies haven't been great, but it's likely to be cheap, and you may use it one day, so do consider picking up 4 of those. And finally, you need 1 copy of Beast Energy. It's amazing for any Ultra Beast deck, but it's a Prism Star, so you can only play 1 of them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the buy list for Forbidden Light. It is very much the cards that you need in order to be fully prepared for anything that might come up in the future. If you've got any other suggestions, though, do make sure you pop them down in the comment section. Cards you think I put on that I shouldn't. Cards that I didn't put on that you think I should. If you do want to buy these singles, might I suggest chaoscards.co.uk. They're not actually sponsoring this video, though they will be sponsoring my box opening of Forbidden Light. But they're my favourite online card store, so, you know, check them out. And obviously make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. YouTube aren't letting me put up notifications on YouTube for when I'm streaming now, so do be checking Twitch and Twitter to make sure you can still come join the live streams. If you want to support the channel, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. I'll give you bonus podcasts for your trouble. And do check out youtube.com/WassyPlays. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a vanity URL. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.